sitting in my house.
Hearing that same scream.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from strange sky sightings to glitches in our matrix that may just leave you shocked, yet craving more. Ready? Let's jump in. To start with, we have this odd-looking creature that's got many in the paranormal community talking. The creature looks like a frog, but with the ability to stand on two legs. Its movements are similar to a bird as it perks up every few seconds. At first glance, anyone would be lost as to what the creature truly is. After a little digging around, and with a lot of help from the comments section of the original post, I discovered that the creature bears a striking resemblance to the mythical merlock from the Warcraft series. The merlock is a fictional creature known for its amphibious nature, savage behavior, and primitive society. These creatures have bulbous bodies, large mouths with sharp fangs, and slimy skin. According to Wiki of the creature, they primarily inhabit coastal areas and come in a variety of colors, with some resembling frogs or fish, while others resemble red-eyed tree frogs, as is the case with the creature we are currently observing. In Warcraft lore, merlocks are hostile creatures that often attack travelers and settlements in large groups. They're known for their distinctive gurgling sounds and are feared by many in the game's universe. Now, how does a fictional game character suddenly come to life in our own? No one really knows, unless, of course, the writer found the creatures, spoke to no one about them, and decided to use them for his own militaristic purposes. Either that or this clip is definitely CGI, but as I always state, until we have enough evidence, nothing can be disproved, despite how ridiculous it looks and sounds. What do you think about the whole thing, though? Share your thoughts in the comments section. The concept of living in a matrix or a simulation has long been a matter of fascination for many people. Questions arise, such as who is controlling this matrix? Is it real or just a figment of our imagination? Check out an interview with Billy Carson on a podcast about the Matrix.
We're in a simulation, and you said they just found evidence of it?
As they began to learn through the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, colliding these atoms and particles together, they discovered we're living in a matrix. And then Professor James Gates took it another level and said, wow, we are living in a matrix because he discovered these symbols by the Dogons called Adinkra codes. And these Adinkra codes, when you take them from flat print and take them into three-dimensional objects, they're mathematical codes. But not any type of mathematical code, they're error-correcting codes. The same type that runs search engines and web browsers. And that is what he discovered is running the ether of space-time itself. So we have his expert analysis with his team that he put together, that we're living inside of a matrix running on error-correcting codes like our search engines and web browsers. We have the LHC confirming that we're living in a light matrix. And we also have then the double slit experiment confirming in superposition. Everything exists in multiple realities as a wave of potentials until a conscious observer collapses it into solid material.
So Carson mentions that the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, in Switzerland has confirmed the existence of a light matrix in which we are living. Moreover, the double-split experiment also supports the idea of living in a matrix. According to him, Professor James Gates also confirms that the Adinkra codes could be used to prove this theory. Now, these sound like bold claims, but anyone who knows who Billy Carson is won't be too surprised. After all, he's the founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledge, Inc., and the best-selling author of The Compendium of the Emerald Tablets and Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. Is there some credibility to what he's saying, though? Well, I'll leave that up to you to decide.
With his team that he put together, that we're living inside of a matrix running on error-correcting codes like our search engines and web browsers. We have the LHC confirming that we're living in a light matrix. And we also have then the double slit experiment confirming in
Clones have been one of the most talked about conspiracies when it comes to government cover-ups. It's a popular belief among the masses that the government creates clones of people in high positions for reasons unknown to the public. Additionally, there are also claims that celebrities are cloned as well. Now, I know you might have come across this footage several times, but let's revisit it. For those who don't know anything about it, this was taken during Katy Perry's concert in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the clip, we can see that she's on stage staring at her audience while they cheered. This iconic moment is, however, interrupted by her eyes glitching. One began to open and close uncontrollably like you typically see with a broken Barbie doll. Realizing this, she touched her temple ever so slightly and the twitching stopped. This is not normal human function, and people had a lot to say about it. While many insisted she had to be a clone, there were some who thought she might be unwell. One user pointed out the possibility of stroke, but a lot more subscribed to the idea of her being a clone of the original. Now, what do you make of it? Was this a genuine case of human cloning, or is this something else entirely?
Make even more noise for my band.
The sky has been a subject of fascination for humans for centuries. Despite the numerous sightings of strange objects in the sky, there are still some more sightings that continue to get viewers in a frenzy. Take a look at this particular one. This peculiar cloud with flashing lights was spotted in North Philadelphia. The unusual mass descended from the sky and vanished behind a house in the vicinity. That's definitely not how clouds are supposed to act, and the sighting quickly gained a lot of attention and even made it to Fox and ABC News. It, however, appears that this was not the first time people had seen this. Many people in the comments section also testified to seeing this strange cloud falling out of the sky at other times within the same area. There were even some from other parts of the world who claimed to have seen it in their regions too. Others had a range of opinions about what this could be. One commenter suggested that this was a drone cloaked as a cloud. Another commenter was convinced that this was a UFO. He even made a subtle argument that the flashing lights were evidence of extraterrestrial activity, and countless others agreed with him. Despite the evidence and buzz around it, a number of individuals in the paranormal community think the whole thing is a hoax meant to throw the community in disarray. You've seen the clip yourself. What do you think? What do you see when you watch this clip? For many, it might be a reptile or dinosaur-looking thing, but for those in the Scottish Highlands, this might just be the real-life footage of the Loch Ness monster. For those unfamiliar with it, the elusive creature, often described as a serpent or dragon-like beast, is said to inhabit the deep, murky waters of Scotland's Loch Ness, the largest freshwater lake in the British Isles. Legends and folklore surrounding the existence of this mysterious creature have been passed down through generations of Scottish culture, with sightings and encounters dating back to ancient times. In fact, the first written account of a sighting of the Loch Ness monster dates back to the year 565 AD, when a missionary named St. Columba claimed to have seen a water beast in the lake. Since then, countless reports and sightings have been recorded, with witnesses describing the creature as having a long serpentine body, a large head, and often a pair of humps protruding from the water. Reverting to the clip, a number of individuals who saw it stated there was no way it could be real. An example is this comment. The user points out something critical they observed. The creature's front fins don't disturb the water. I didn't notice it before, but after going back to watch the clip, I must say that it does look like a hot knife going through butter. It almost looks unreal. If the concerns of the commentator are to be believed, then this certainly is a reason to believe that the clip might indeed be doctored or simply put a CGI creation. But then again, perhaps my skill in cinematography might be lacking. Has this been the only sighting? Well, not exactly. In April of 1933, a couple reported seeing an enormous creature crossing the road in front of their car near the loch. This sighting sparked widespread media attention, and soon afterward, numerous additional sightings, including eyewitness accounts, photographs, and alleged film footage purported to show the creature, were reported. In the decades that followed, numerous scientific expeditions and investigations were launched to study the phenomenon. Various methods were used, including sonar surveys, underwater photography, and DNA analysis of the loch's waters. While some studies yielded inconclusive results, others suggested that the reported sightings could be attributed to natural phenomena or misidentification of known animals. Despite this, the legend of the Loch Ness monster continues to captivate the public's imagination, and the mystery surrounding it remains unsolved. On April the 8th, an eclipse occurred that brought about a lot of speculation and theories, some of which were quite intriguing. One particular case that caught the attention of many was the footage that a man shared.
Listen to me. I'm sitting in my house, right? You see me make a video of somebody or something in the sun. It's a clear day. It's after April the 8th. After the eclipse, so I'm coming out here.
The video was captured on April the 12th, a few days after the eclipse, and featured the sun shining brightly. However, the peculiar aspect of the video was that behind the sun, a strange figure was visible. The figure appeared to be a person walking behind the sun. The video raised many questions and left people wondering what was going on up there. As soon as the footage was shared in the paranormal community, a lot of people dismissed it as a hoax and made fun of the whole situation. However, a few people were still pretty curious about what this could be. It was in the midst of this confusion that the theories started pouring in. One theorized that we may be in the fourth dimension. According to him, this has slowly been happening since 2020. One of the most popular theories, however, was that the whole thing was nothing more than an illusion created by Project Bluebeam. Those who pushed this theory had one lingering question: what could be the motive behind such a projection? This is a question no one had answers to, so Bluebeam Tech, a shift to the fourth dimension, and a possible hoax. What's your pick? In this next clip, a bird farmer is seen entering the enclosure of her birds to check up on and possibly feed them. As she steps inside, all the birds start running around, chirping and flapping their wings. Suddenly, something strange happens. All the birds freeze in place as if time has stopped. The only bird that remains unfazed is the one in the middle, who continues to peck at the food in front of it. Just look at that, all frozen in time. But could this be a glitch in the Matrix, or what do you think? Let's see what people had to say about it. There was one common explanation between people, and that is, this is a normal thing among birds to be frozen in time when they sense danger. According to experts, when birds sense a threat, they go into a state of shock, also known as tonic immobility. This response is a survival mechanism that helps them avoid being detected by predators who are less likely to attack prey that appears to be dead. In the case of the bird farmer, it's possible that the sudden appearance of their owner caused the birds to react this way. However, it's also possible that they were reacting to something else entirely, such as a loud noise, a sudden movement, or even a predator. We can't, however, state with certainty what it is without any more evidence.
Well, you may have seen it earlier tonight, a mysterious sight in the sky. In the last couple of hours, our newsroom has been flooded with messages asking,
Humans tend to be highly observant beings, especially when it comes to phenomena that we cannot explain. This is particularly true when it comes to sightings of unidentified flying objects, or UAPs. Recently, there was a lot of buzz around strange lights that were spotted in the sky over the United States. Many people were convinced that this was evidence of an alien spaceship, a UFO, or even a rocket launch. Naturally, this caused a great deal of concern and unease amongst the general public. To address these concerns, experts were called in to investigate the mysterious lights and provide an explanation. Thankfully, it was revealed that the lights were not what they seemed. They were the result of the launch of Starlink satellites by SpaceX. The strange appearance of the lights was due to a phenomenon known as the twilight effect. When a device is launched into space, it reflects sunlight from the other side of the atmosphere that still has light. This creates an ethereal, otherworldly appearance, particularly during twilight hours. So the strange light observed in the sky was not an alien spaceship or any other kind of unknown object. It was simply a satellite launched by SpaceX. Thankfully, we can rest easy knowing there was no cause for alarm or concern. While one type of light has been explained by experts to be a satellite launch into space, I doubt if that is the same explanation for this. These strange horizontal streaks of light were captured over Mauna Kea, an active volcano in Hawaii, on 28th of January 2023. They looked like green lasers coming from the sky onto the Earth. Many who saw it saw a Matrix reference and didn't hesitate to point it out. And there seems to be several people who have made claims of seeing these lights before. However, after much speculation, an explanation was finally given from one of the unlikeliest sources. Experts at the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, which co-owns the camera, announced on Twitter that the source was a radar device of an orbiting satellite known as ICE-SAT-2, which is owned by NASA. These reports were soon refuted by NAOJ themselves again on the 6th of February. They apologized and said that based on the trajectory, the source of the laser beam was unlikely NASA. This was confirmed by Dr. Martino Antony Jr., a NASA scientist working on ICE-SAT-2 Atlas, and his colleague Dr. Alvaro Ivanov. They did a simulation and suggested that the potential source is the Chinese Daqi-1 AEMS satellite's ACDL instrument, Science Alert reported. Now, there's a lot we can say about this, but I'll leave it to you guys. What do you make of the information I've presented? Is there something fishy going on here, or could it just be information and misunderstanding between some of the top minds in the world?
The state of Florida looked up into the air this morning to see a bright light streaking across the dark sky. Was it a plane?
Still on strange lights in the sky, we visit Florida, where a streak of light was seen in the night sky. It was a bright orb in the center with a beam of light diverging into the sky. It was quite the spectacle that also sparked a lot of frenzy and chaos among the residents. Once again, experts came to clarify that this was just a rocket being launched. However, people were not very convinced, and this is what they had to say. Many called it fake news. The majority were convinced that this could all be covered up for something nefarious going on there. One comment, however, got my attention, and it read, "Aren't rockets supposed to fly vertically, not horizontally?" Now, that's a good question, so I looked it up and it turns out, not really. This is because launching vertically allows rockets to efficiently escape Earth's atmosphere, which requires a significant amount of thrust. However, once a rocket reaches a certain altitude and velocity, it can adjust its trajectory to move horizontally if that's what the mission requires. Another person argued that if there was indeed a rocket launch, there would have been some form of announcement. We can't confirm if there was or not, but what do you guys make of these theories and speculation? The vast and mysterious ocean is considered one of the largest unexplored territories on Earth and is home to a plethora of conspiracies and creatures that remain unknown to man. One of the most popular and captivating mythical beings that the ocean is said to host is the mermaid. These magical creatures are often depicted with the upper bodies of humans and the lower bodies of fish and have been a part of human folklore for centuries. Puerto Rico, a beautiful coastal area, is no exception to this. It has its collection of mermaid legends and folklore which have been passed down through generations. Known as sirenas in Spanish, these stories may vary across different regions and communities, but the allure of mermaids remains a prominent feature of Puerto Rican folklore. In this footage, a group of people who were out fishing had an extraordinary experience. As they were on the surface, they noticed a blue glow in the water close to their boat. The glow followed them for a while before they noticed the silhouette of a human-like creature in the water. Although this sighting was different from the unusual mermaid sightings, it has left many people convinced it's the real deal. Some even suspect it might be alien. But what do you think? Still on strange water sightings, we've got another one, but this time in the waters of Mexico. This spectacle was captured by a couple who were walking on a boardwalk by the shores of Veracruz. What makes this incident more peculiar is that residents reported that they wasn't just the first time this had happened, making it even more intriguing. It's highly unusual if this is a natural disaster, as it is not naturally possible for such an event to occur. A whirlpool appearing and disappearing at will. Could we be looking at some sort of portal or some sort of scientific experiment going on in broad daylight? It's possible that this couple happened to be at the location at the exact same time when the entity responsible for this passage opened it. It looks like a scene from a sci-fi movie. While we ponder the reality of that video, we still have things to figure out, like this footage, for instance.
We're either being surrounded by friggin' UFOs or the Coast Guard. Following us in, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lights we see there. They've been coming on, they were 7 lights.
In this intriguing story, a fisherman's adventure at sea took an unexpected turn when he captured some mysterious footage on his camcorder. The footage shows the beautiful orange horizon as the sun sets, and the camera pans to the distance where a red light is seen. The fisherman then zooms in to capture a closer view, but the footage becomes shaky and unsteady. Suddenly, the camera cuts to a view of more than a dozen of these red lights in the sky, which the fisherman claims to be UFOs that have been trailing his boat for a while. While this man's account of the event is fascinating, the footage is not clear enough to identify what those lights were. Despite the fisherman's claims, some were skeptical about the encounter. Some even registered their frustration about the clip being from afar. One even suggested that they should have moved closer to allow the ships to get near enough for a good shot of the ship. That has me wondering, in what world is that logical? Human beings are known for their insatiable curiosity, and although there is a popular saying that goes, "Curiosity killed the cat," it seems that people often fail to abide by this cautionary advice. In this particular instance, there is video footage that showcases this curiosity, where a man enters a glass structure in the snow to explore. If the video is here, then you know that it didn't go so well. Shortly after, a polar bear approaches the structure to inspect it. The bear is not merely observing, but also clawing and attempting to bite through the glass to get to the man inside. However, to everyone's surprise, the man appears to be unfazed by the bear's behavior and continues to remain inside the glass structure. One comment that caught my attention read, "Lunchbox isn't opening." My favorite comment at the end of the day is this particular one. I mean, what if? Now what do we have here? A dry, dead fish is brought back to life by a drop of water. What sorcery is this? Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the zombie fish. Not zombie in the way of eating brains, of course, but the ability to spring back to life. This fish is what many call the suckermouth catfish or pleco. These fish are found in ponds and rivers in South America and have an incredible ability to survive in extreme conditions. When the natural habitat dries up, they bury themselves in the mud and go into a state of suspended animation known as aestivation. During this period, they can survive without water or food for several months. Their metabolism slows down to the point where they require very little oxygen and their body becomes dehydrated, as you can see in this footage. But they don't die. When the rains come and their habitat is reflooded, the fish rehydrate and come back to life. In this case, the fish was responding to the drops of water being poured on it. It might seem like a miraculous resurrection, but it's just their fantastic ability to survive extreme conditions. What do you guys have in mind when you think about creation? Mostly people link creation to their religion. Most religions believe that there is a God who made all this. Others also believe in the Big Bang, evolution, and a whole lot. During an interview, this man gave an interesting take on how humans were created. Take a listen.
I saw one guy that was like, I referred to him as the keeper of the DNA. Somebody way up the ladder in the Galactic Command Center that had a vault of DNA. And so they'd go, we got a planet that's this far from the sun, the gravity is this, the oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen level is this. And he could take DNA off the shelf and say, okay, we'll make a creature that will live there, and then they'd introduce it. And that was his job, to have the mixture for the right conditions, or to create the conditions on the planet, terraform the planet. That guy moved me when I was looking at him. I got real emotional, like, wow, this is very powerful. I'm really honored.
Did you hear that? So this man is a remote viewer. For those who may not be familiar with the term, a remote viewer is someone who practices remote viewing. Remote viewing is a technique that involves using extrasensory perception to gain information that is not accessible through normal sensory channels. It essentially allows a person to see or perceive things beyond the physical limitations of their body. To do this, the viewer uses various techniques to enter a relaxed or altered state of consciousness, such as meditation or visualization. On one such trip, this man says he meets a man in the Galactic Command Center who has a vault of DNA, including humans, and made us fit the resources that Earth has to provide. Now that is an interesting take on creation, unless of course you don't believe in the ESP stuff and think he's basically just daydreaming.
I saw one guy that was like, I referred to him as the keeper of the DNA.
You say hi? No? You don't want to say hi? What was that?
A woman and her child were walking on a trail when they heard a loud shriek that seems to come out of nowhere. The child, who was sitting on the ground, even heard it and began to crawl away. In another encounter, a hiker on a lonely trail heard a strange shrieking sound that started from a distance but kept getting closer.
And I keep hearing that same scream. Here it is again.
The suspected cryptid? The Skinwalker. For those who don't know, Skinwalkers are a fascinating and mysterious part of Navajo legend that has captured the imagination of people worldwide. These creatures are known for their mischievous behavior and their ability to transform into any animal they desire. They're also known to be dangerous, and it's said that they can cause harm to those who cross their path. According to Navajo tradition, the only way to kill a Skinwalker is with a bullet dipped in white ash. Despite their fictional origins, many people believe that skinwalkers are real, and there have been numerous sightings and encounters reported throughout the years. Some people claim to have heard strange sounds in the woods, such as loud shrieks and eerie howls that they believe are the calls of skinwalkers. Others have reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the darkness, or even encountering animals that seem to possess an uncanny intelligence and an otherworldly aura. While some people are convinced that these encounters are proof of the existence of skinwalkers, others are more skeptical. Some argue that the sounds captured on camera could be the calls of ordinary animals or even fake sounds created to attract attention.
It's definitely not a bird or some kind of animal.
The owner of a mechanical shop was reviewing his surveillance camera feed when he noticed one of his workers standing outside and talking to thin air. The worker appeared to be having an intense conversation, which understandably made the owner feel uneasy. So he decided to call the worker to find out what was happening.
Estoy revisando por la cámara del taller y este maestro está hablando solo. Le voy a preguntar por cámara qué está haciendo. ¿Aló? Oye, disculpa, pero ¿con quién estás hablando? ¿Tú me estás hablando del accidente de anoche?
Claro.
Juan, me estáis huellando, ¿cierto?
No, pues estoy con Don Carlos aquí, pues.
Es que no estáis hablando con nadie, viejo.
No puede ser, pues yo tengo el caballero aquí al frente mío, pues.
No estás hablando con nadie, Juan, y ayer los que chocaron murieron todos. Juan, no estás con nadie. Sube y ven a ver las cámaras. Tengo todo grabado.
Yes, you heard that. The worker said he was talking to a customer who had an accident the previous night. At first, he even thought it was a prank, but the employee mentioning the accident made him realize that the person from the accident had died. After watching the video, I was curious and investigated whether anyone else had experienced something similar. It turns out a number of people have. Take a look at this confession. I believe it because the same thing happened to me in a cemetery. I was visiting my sister's grave who died at 16 years old. The cemetery was empty. Then all of a sudden, a man dressed in a suit and tie appeared out of nowhere. He looked alive, nothing spooky about him, and he told me he worked for the church and took care of the cemetery. We spoke about my sister's grave and her passing. I found out later that the man was indeed a ghost that many knew about. Another person stated, had this happened to a friend of mine on camera outside of the Sears automotive section. Said on the team radio that he'd run into a lost little girl needing to find her family. He walked from outside to the inside to the security area, the whole time holding his arm and hand out like he was holding the hand of a child. When he got to the security office, he told her to have a seat while the security team showed him some footage. Beyond shocked, he turned around to notice the child had completely vanished. He quit his job a few weeks later. These accounts are both chilling. While some may be skeptical, these stories are hard to ignore. What do you make of it?
The car is in the middle of the lake. And there are people in the car.
Technology is advancing at an incredible pace, but who would have thought? Cars driving through lakes and rivers? Amazing, isn't it? The person filming the car was taking a hike when he chanced on a family in a car that was in the middle of a lake. At first, he thought the car was sinking until he noticed how calm the people in the car were. The car is called the Yangtze River N8, or simply U8, and it is an electric vehicle made in China. The U8 has a limited ability to sail on water, and this feature is primarily intended for emergencies such as flash floods or unexpected water crossings. The U8 is equipped with 4 water propellers, which allows it to move forward and steer in water. However, it's not recommended to use the car regularly in water, as it's primarily designed for land use. In fact, the U8 is actually a hybrid vehicle, which means it can run on both electricity and gasoline. It has a top speed of 60 kilometers an hour on land and 10 kilometers an hour on water. One of the comments in the comments section suggested that the water and lithium batteries could be dangerous, but in this case, it's highly unlikely. The U8 is designed with safety features to prevent water from getting into the battery compartment, and the battery is well protected. The U8 has undergone rigorous testing to ensure that it's safe to use in water. This is such a cool invention, don't you think?
Oh man, how cool it is. So what do you guys think?
Still on strange and mysterious animal captures, picture this: a serene, snow-covered landscape, a man and his faithful dog on a tranquil hike. It sounds like the perfect winter outing until an unexpected turn of events shatters the peace. As they ventured through the snow, the man's dog, typically lively and carefree, suddenly dashed ahead, only to return moments later trembling with fear. This unusual behavior prompted the man to grab his phone and start recording, and what he captured was truly spine-chilling. In the footage, a dark, towering figure was seen moving silently among the snow-clad trees. It was a moment that sent shivers down the hiker's spine, compelling him to cut his hike short and hasten back to the safety of his home. But here's where the story takes a truly unsettling turn. Upon returning home, he realized that the ominous figure from the woods seemed to have followed him. It was lurking outside his house like a shadowy specter refusing to let go. The question that lingers is, what could this mysterious presence be? Was it the elusive Bigfoot, a spectral slender man, or perhaps something even more sinister and unexplainable? Share your thoughts. This nosy situation was captured on a Trailcam, offering a glimpse into the captivating world of wildlife. Here, in this snapshot, we see a black nose framed by dark fur, a sight that immediately piques our curiosity. The possibilities seem as endless as the wilderness itself. Could it be a mischievous monkey, or, for those who entertain the mysteries of the paranormal, the ever-elusive Bigfoot? However, as our investigation and scrutiny would reveal, the answer turns out to be both simpler and utterly endearing. This inquisitive visitor, it turns out, is none other than one of the monkey species native to the area the trail camera that captured it was set up. It turns out that the creature was driven by an insatiable curiosity to investigate the odd-looking object in its surroundings. It employs all senses, including its keen sense of smell, in a bid to understand the situation. In a twist of fate that could only be described as comically charming, its twitching nose, poised for investigation, aligned perfectly with the camera's lens at just the right moment. The result, an image that serves as a delightful bridge between the natural world and our technological incursions into it, capturing a moment of whimsy, charm, and the unexpected in the wild. One question though, what monkey species do you think that is? Tell us in the comments section. The story behind this next clip is nothing short of comic. During a road trip, two furry creatures were spotted from afar, walking on all twos. Thinking they had live coverage of the elusive beast, they got close, and this is what they saw. Yes, those are bears, not Bigfoots. Bears. Did you know they did that? Does anyone know why? Well, back to the individuals. The paranormal community was very upset with them for leading them on, only to discover it was a bear. I mean, how can you mistake a bear for a Bigfoot? If you had said dogman, that's understandable, but to mistake a bear for a Bigfoot, well, that's a blunder the paranormal community will not willingly forgive. Whatever your thoughts of the previous video are, you can't deny that it's a fascinating world out there, and sometimes we come across creatures that leave even scientists scratching their heads. The next footage is no exception. In the dimly lit cellar, a truly peculiar creature made its appearance. This little being was seen slowly crawling across the cellar floor. What sets it apart are the three claw-like structures adorning its body. As this mysterious crawler moved, it unfolded what appeared to be webbed wings with three ominous black claws extending from each wing. Despite its diminutive size, there's an undeniable air of danger and unease surrounding this creature. I mean, the Black Widow is deadly and it's only a small spider, which means this could be much worse. Anyone know what this is? Please do share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Prepare to be astounded by the next footage. A family embarked on a tranquil hike in the woods, seeking the beauty of nature. Their trip is, however, interrupted when they stumble upon something profoundly strange. Captivated, they grab their cameras, and the footage is what you see unfolding before your very eyes. Amidst the towering trees, a figure of astonishing peculiarity takes shape. It manifests and then retreats, seemingly merging with the verdant tapestry of the forest. This disappearance is but for a short moment, as it reappears a moment later, stepping boldly into view before vanishing into the heart of the woods. Were you able to catch a glimpse of it before its disappearance? What does it remind you of? Upon closer examination of the footage, you'll notice that this creature is bipedal despite its ape-like build and fur. It starts off with the gorilla walk, then leaps and then jumps. There are no apes that can do that, right? If that's no ape, then what creature could it be? The answer is pretty simple, really. It's the legendary Bigfoot. But in Russia, is there anyone with any experience or stories of these magnificent cryptids in Russia? If there is, please enlighten us, as we'd love to know. Does this not scare you? I'm used to seeing cute and fluffy rabbits, but these creatures, although resembling rabbits, don't look like the furry, cute bunnies we're used to. Despite having heads resembling that of a rabbit or hare, they have bodies that are human-like and even dressed to look the part. Their clothes are thick and heavy, which might suggest they live in a cold region. If you pay attention to the hands of the creature, you'll realize that the right one looks like a prosthetic arm, albeit one made of wood or branches, something along the lines of a makeshift, which will leave you wondering what happened to it. Looking at the way the second creature, or humanoid rabbit, follows the one in front, you don't have to be a genius to deduce that there are certainly more of these creatures in this location. I would have called them alien, but their clothes look rather native, which will suggest they have lived in that region for a while. We hadn't heard of creatures like this, and we're naturally curious about it. The image was sent in by a subscriber of the channel, and we decided to ask her where the footage was taken. She has, however, refused to disclose the location where this image was taken. According to her, her family has known about the existence of these humanoid rabbits for years and kept it a secret. It's a tradition she too wants to keep up. She only thought she'd share the image so you and I could appreciate some of the mysteries that roam our planet. And you have to agree, this is indeed strange, is it not? Is there anyone among you who's ever had a close encounter with any of these creatures? If you have, please share your experience in the comments section, as we'd really love to hear about it. Out in the wilderness, there's always room for surprises, and this one certainly delivered. As it emerged from the bushes, this creature immediately piqued our curiosity. At first glance, it might give you the impression of an otherworldly being, a fox, but with longer legs and striking dark fur. Now, if we didn't know any better, we might be tempted to assume that we'd stumbled upon an alien species or some sort of paranormal entity. But here's where the magic of research comes into play. After delving into the fascinating world of fauna, we unearthed the truth. This creature is no extraterrestrial visitor, it's an earthly animal known as the maned wolf. They're not true wolves, though, but distant relatives and are actually more closely related to South American bush dogs. They more closely resemble a giant fox, which earned them another nickname, fox on stilts, for their leggy build and fox-like coloration and features. So there you have it, folks, a gentle reminder that our planet is teeming with creatures that can be just as extraordinary and baffling as any creature of legend. In the dense Malaysian woods, a group of hunters stumbles upon this creature that defies all their expectations. It was unlike anything they had ever encountered before, a fusion of the human and animal worlds. It had a face that bore a striking resemblance to a human, coupled with a body that appeared to share characteristics with both a sloth and a raccoon. Malaysia has a rich tapestry of tales about mysterious creatures with animal bodies and human-like features, and many locals believe that this find could be one of those legendary hybrid beings. Experts and skeptics have yet to offer their official opinions on the legitimacy of this footage, so for now we find ourselves in a realm of uncertainty, pondering whether this creature is a product of folklore or a genuine anomaly in the animal kingdom. This Trailcam capture indeed presents a rare and fascinating spectacle, one that has stirred the curiosity of both enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Most Bigfoot encounters and footage feature solitary individuals, making this sighting all the more intriguing. In this remarkable image, we are presented with not one, but two enigmatic creatures standing in what appears to be a unique interaction. The creature on the right, shrouded in dark fur, stands tall, its height almost mirroring that of the surrounding trees. In contrast, the figure on the left assumes a distinctive posture, seemingly in a kneeling or crouching position, and features a distinctive brown fur. The nature of the exchange between these two beings remains an enigma, one that sparks the imagination and invites a multitude of interpretations. Are they engaged in some form of communication or ritual? Are they observing something in the distance, or is this a chance encounter in the depths of the wilderness? This capture, with its unique portrayal of two potential Bigfoot individuals, adds another layer to the ongoing quest to unravel the secrets of these elusive creatures. This next footage just exudes a peaceful and quite frankly beautiful sight to behold if one decides to have alone time in a secluded area. The unknown location is surrounded by lush green trees with black rocks and majestic flowing water. What's most evident is a human-like figure standing in a fishing posture, holding a long stick and a red bag on a fallen tree, likely for storing a catch. Things escalate when a creature emerges from the woods, seemingly intrigued by the man fishing. It doesn't stop there. The creature gets closer until it suddenly decides against it and walks away. Why was he heading towards the man? What made him stop? What was that creature? I initially thought it might be a Bigfoot, but it's unusual for Bigfoots to approach people. Could it have been a different cryptid, one that's previously unknown yet very hostile to humans, or am I simply reading meanings into things that are non-existent? It's hard to say at this point, but perhaps a second opinion might clear things up. Care to share yours? Now imagine this, you're at the sink ready to wash your hands when you notice something unusual. In the small holes of the sink, a creature is struggling to emerge. Thankfully though, the sink drain is fitted tight, making it challenging and difficult for it to come through. This also means that we never get a clear glimpse of the creature's identity. Nevertheless, this persistent critter is giving it everything it's got, trying to squeeze its body through that confounding hole. The question that naturally springs to mind is this: what on earth, or maybe beyond, could this creature be, and how on earth did it end up in such a peculiar predicament? Ahoy there, marine enthusiasts! Feast your eyes on this deep-sea denizen, the one and only goblin shark. This peculiar creature hails from the mysterious depths of our oceans. It's known for its elongated, flattened snout filled with rows of terrifying sharp teeth. But don't be too spooked. The goblin shark is rarely seen by humans thanks to its preferred habitat in the dark, cold waters of the deep sea. So while it may be dubbed the goblin shark for its unique appearance, it's more of a shadowy legend lurking beneath the waves. Who knows what other fantastic beasts are concealed in the abyssal depths of our vast oceans? In the realm of social media influencers, there's always a niche for every talent and interest. Enter Throat King Sings, renowned for his unique deep throat sounds used in meditation. But what sets him apart isn't just his human audience. It seems that his mesmerizing sounds also resonate with nature's creatures and perhaps even the paranormal. In one of his videos, as Throat King sings serenades in a picturesque field, he inadvertently captures the attention of a curious deer. The majestic animal is drawn to the ethereal sounds, seemingly enchanted by the vibrations echoing through the serene landscape. However, what makes this footage truly intriguing is what lurks in the background. Behind the inquisitive deer, emerging from the thick bushes, are two mysterious entities. Cryptids, perhaps? Their sudden appearance suggests that they too were inexplicably pulled towards the captivating sounds of Throat King sings. It raises a host of questions. Who are these enigmatic figures? What draws them to these hauntingly beautiful sounds? Are they merely curious observers, or do they share a deeper connection with the mystical vibrations of Throat King Sing's meditation? The capture unveils a forest with tall leafless trees covered in what appears to be moss. Dead leaves carpet the ground. Among the trees, a peculiar sight emerges, a doll tightly bound as if to prevent its escape. Upon closer inspection, it becomes evident that two of these dolls are bound to the same tree. Could these dolls have been haunting someone or a group of people, necessitating them being bound like this? Could this site be a ritual ground for witches and occultists? It's hard to tell, but these dolls must be very, very uncomfortable. Care to go on a rescue mission? Let us know your response in the comments section. Imagine driving on your favorite highway, if that's a thing, and coming across something like this. Would it scare you, or would you be totally chill about it? Well, the one who sent these pictures in was far from chill. He was not freaking out either. He was just overly excited. He thought that he'd caught a glimpse of the Bigfoot he so admires. Watching the footage, I don't blame him for thinking so. Perhaps that's probably going to be the first thing on my mind, too. The creature in question has the fur and the build to be Bigfoot. But is it really, though? Well, I'm skeptical about that. The capture is very blurry, preventing us from running an in-depth analysis. But if it were really Bigfoot roaming the highway, someone else would have stopped to record it and it would have gone on the news. Seeing as none of these things happened, I'm tempted to think it's a bear. What about you? A horse breeder in Ohio shared footage of one of his animals, and it left the internet talking. In the eye-catching footage, we're introduced to a creature that seems to be a blend of two very distinct animals. Its body is reminiscent of a horse, but when we set our gaze upon its head, we're met with a striking departure from equine norms. Its head bears a striking resemblance to that of a dog. Naturally, when something this unusual and baffling comes along, the internet chatter goes into overdrive. The prevailing theory suggests that perhaps a rather mysterious individual decided to take horse breeding to an entirely new level by uniting these two species. But here's the real mystery. The horse breeder who could potentially solve this captivating enigma is nowhere to be found. So for now, we're left marveling at this remarkable hybrid creature, pondering the hows and whys of its existence. Going alone into the depths of the woods can be a test of one's courage and sanity, as this brave YouTuber from the channel Abandoned 6.7 discovered. Amidst the trees, almost beyond the reach of the camera's lens, a pale figure moved with an unsettling speed and unpredictability. It darted back and forth, raising more questions than answers. What kind of creature could move in such a manner? Was it a wild animal, or did he inadvertently stumble upon something even more enigmatic, like a legendary Skinwalker? In search of adventure, he set up a camp in the heart of the wilderness, preparing for an overnight stay that would forever etch itself into his memory. During his solitary sojourn, strange occurrences began to unfold. The peace of the woods was periodically shattered by unexplained noises, and his campfire seemed to bear the brunt of some unseen presence's curiosity. His tent, on more than one occasion, bore the signs of tampering, as if something or someone had been probing at the edges of his reality. The climax of this eerie adventure came when he managed to capture the unsettling footage you just watched on his camera. The fact that we're discussing this video now suggests that the YouTuber made it out of the woods unscathed, but the mysteries of the wilderness remain lurking just out of sight, waiting for the next curious soul to uncover them. Trailcams indeed provide us with intriguing glimpses of the natural world, and security cameras too have a knack for capturing inexplicable moments. In the still images captured in the dead of night, a scene unfolds that transcends the boundaries of explanation. Before us, a luminous, of ordinary ethereal being materializes, suspended above the homeowner's car. It exudes an otherworldly aura, its form cloaked in a radiant, hazy shroud. On closer inspection, we discern the semblances of a figure adorned in flowing white robes that seems to meld seamlessly with the surrounding mist. A careful look reveals further details: a head, rounded and enigmatic, and an enigmatic horizontal form that bears an uncanny resemblance to a celestial sword. The interplay of light and shadow in these images conjures an almost dreamlike quality, an impression of the divine rendered in pixels. It's intriguing that the homeowner, a person of faith, interprets this apparition as their guardian angel. The notion of angelic guardianship has long been a source of comfort and inspiration for many, a belief that extends beyond any one religious tradition. Whether one ascribes a spiritual significance to this phenomenon or simply marvels at its enigmatic beauty, the image still sparks a sense of wonder. Crucially, the integrity of these images has undergone scrutiny and remains untarnished by manipulation, adding an extra layer of intrigue to this captivating encounter. What do you think, though, angelic or not? Well, if it isn't another mystery caught on camera. This time our stage is set in a parking lot and we've got a mysterious visitor strutting its stuff. At first glance, you might think it's a human, but don't be too quick to jump to conclusions. This being moves in an eerie, uncanny way. It's like its body is in a perpetually crouched state, and it waddles along, giving it an otherworldly appearance. But the strangest thing of all is its appearance. It's like white smoke taking on an unusual form. There's no clear indication that this is a human being. It's almost like something from a paranormal tale or a sci-fi flick. Well, we might not have all the answers, but one thing's for sure. Our world is full of unexplained phenomena and curious sightings. Working the night shift as a security guard can be a lonely job, with only the stars to keep you company. But for this vigilant guard at a pipeline station, one fateful night brought an encounter that would leave him struggling with PTSD for the rest of his life. As he patrolled the area, his sharp eyes caught sight of something unusual. Emerging from the shadows, a strange creature made a fleeting appearance, darting off into the nearby woods. This creature had a pale, hairless complexion and an unsettling, hunched posture. Fearing for his safety, the startled security guard wasted no time in beating a hasty retreat. What could that be? Well, we've had a hard time putting our fingers on it. Can you help? Would you buy parts from a haunted car? Did that question sound bizarre? Then perhaps it's because you haven't seen our next footage. This recorder, named Garcia, can be seen showcasing all the car models parked in this dusty vicinity. This particular black car has a dark history that involved a crash and the demise of its owner. Despite its history, many wanted parts, so Garcia, who is the man recording, proceeds to examine the car, showcasing its condition as clearly as possible. While checking the back seats, the car, without a driver in the front seat, abruptly starts moving. Garcia is clearly frightened by this sudden movement, and he vocalizes his shock, which leaves us wondering about the cause. Apparently, this isn't the first of such encounters, but the first time he's ever caught it on tape. What could be causing the car to move on its own? The deceased owner who doesn't want his car torn apart, or Garcia himself playing around for some views? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We'd really love to hear them. This capture showcases numerous trees scattered throughout the woods, with a firelit torch stick emerging to the left, nestling between a real tree and its additional trunk. The limited illumination is soon overshadowed by a larger light source, revealing the expansive terrain before us and asserting its presence. Naturally, this second light causes the eyes of the Nocturnals to glow in the dark. If you know anything about Nocturnals, you know this is a normal trait. But you've got to ask, what's this second source of light that dominantly glows over these animals? We've known about orbs and what they represent, but this? What could it mean? If you have any answers, please don't hesitate to share. If you thought a car on water was amazing, wait till you see this. Imagine a bus that could run on a nuclear reactor. That's exactly what this bus is. But as much as I wouldn't want to burst your bubble, the Cyclops is a fictional vehicle made from the 1976 movie The Big Bus, and that's all there is to it. This remarkable mode of transport was designed to travel across the country without ever needing to stop for fuel. Just think about the possibilities. The Cyclops could have changed the way we travel forever with its revolutionary technology, if it were real. A nuclear-powered bus would have been a game-changer in the transportation industry, offering a cleaner and more efficient way to travel. Unfortunately, the Cyclops only exists in the world of fiction. Nevertheless, it's fascinating to think about what could have been if this incredible vehicle was made reality. Perhaps someday, someone will create a real-life Cyclops that can revolutionize the way we travel. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Oh yeah, before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. Can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.